the last thing I did in that conversation is I closed the loop, right? I said, you need to leave or I need to leave, and we can come back tomorrow and try again. Because if you leave that loop open, you're saying basically this conversation's over. But you need to say, hey, we can come back again to do it. So in the listener's mind, they know that they have a second chance to get that grievance off their chest. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the TPM Show. We're laughing over here because we got Christopher Hansen back here. He hasn't left. We'll keep going here. Colton, our producer, has had coffee for the first time in 6 months, so he's on a level 10. And a shout out to Justin, who does a lot of the editing to make these episodes happen. So Chris, we were doing questions, but I had a question, so I thought I'd throw that onto the table. I was recently talking to a client that I'm working with, and he did something, I don't want to say wrong because it's not the right word, but he violated the trust in his relationship, right? So he got caught cheating by his wife. And so he was telling me about how much she's getting beaten up. And this has been going on for a while. Some days she's happy. It's great. They're even more intimate than they'd been in a long time. And the next day she's coming at him, yelling at him, cussing him, telling him how horrible of a person he is. So he's repented for his sins, so to speak. He's apologized. He feels horrible about it. His actions, the pain it's caused for him and the people around him for doing this. It's not the man he is. And so when we're getting into this, we're going on a couple months now of him, when I talk to him, of him just like in tears, just like, man, she's saying the most hurtful things to me, like about how horrible I am. And she's dredging up all this stuff from the past. And I go, so what do you do? He's like, I just feel like I need to sit there and just take it right now. Like I just need to repent, so to speak, or be punished for what I did. So my question to you, and I definitely have my opinion on this, as I do with most things, is somebody does something wrong, they violate trust or do something that's considered, quote, wrong in the relationship. What's the time period of how long they get to suffer for their actions?
I mean, I don't know if there's a linear time period for it. I would say their relationship to their own punishment is going to be the thing that eventually gets them to a place where they're no longer going to have that experience. So it's, if somebody feels like they deserve to be punished, punishment will show up for them, right? So to me, it would be this client's own relationship to their actions. Is he truly one with himself? Let's take his wife out of the equation. Has he truly acknowledged exactly what happened with himself? Has he been completely honest with himself about this situation, why it happened, what happened, all of that, right? So we know at that point that he is clear with the actions that were taken, felt all of the feelings around that, right? Shame. He's probably mad at himself, right? He's probably in a space where maybe he doesn't feel like he deserves to be in a relationship with his wife. Like he's got to kind of sort through all of those things for himself, first and foremost, because if his wife is coming at him saying all of these hurtful things, if he believes those things about himself, he's going to internalize them and he's going to feel like he needs to just take it, right? From my perspective, in a situation like this, ultimately you want to get to a place where you can kind of sit in a place of neutrality and allow your wife to say whatever she wants to you. And you know that you don't believe that about yourself. You know that you have taken accountability. You may have made a mistake, but hey, I've forgiven myself for this. And then she can say whatever she wants. And you know it's more just about her at this point and her pain. And when you can get to that place, those words really aren't hurtful. It's just like, hey, I can see that, what I did hurt this person. This is this person expressing those feelings. She may say the most hateful things about me in the world, to me, whatever. I don't believe those things about myself. So I can create space for her just to get this stuff out, right? May get to a point in that where that experience, it's tiring, and you may have to start to set some boundaries around it and just say, hey, look, I understand that you still feel X, Y, and Z about this thing. I'd appreciate it if you didn't speak to me the way that you're speaking to me, and do that in a way that is not reactive, and you can start to establish some boundaries around it. But for me, the first and foremost, it's about his relationship to what he did before it's about his wife's relationship to it.
I love that in a lot of ways, and I agree with everything that you said. I also think that there's a point where the boundaries get to be set of respect, right? And in this particular one, I'm guessing, because I haven't spoken to his wife, but I'm guessing she feels disrespected, right? Not only the affair, but it's also the lying portion of it, right? The violation of a sacred union, if you will. And I'm not making him wrong, or any guy or anybody that cheats or does anything wrong. But at some point, you need to stand up and say, hey, look, I understand you're mad and you have every right to be, but you can't be disrespectful for me. I won't be in that conversation. If you want to have a conversation about this, I'm happy to have a conversation with you, listen to everything that you have to say, but it needs to come from a space of mutual respect and love. Love for yourself, love for myself, but also love for our relationship. If we want to stay on this, if we want to work this out. And that's a critical component, right? Do both parties want this to work? And not all the times they do. And sometimes couples stay together for religious reasons. I understand that. That's not this case, right? So I would want to know, that's what I told him, is does she want to work this out, or at least try? If the answer is no, she's 100% done, well, there you go. But if she's still got a foot in the door, so to speak, your job as the leader of the home is to provide leadership and guidance. And so something that I've used before with Aaron early on is I say, look, stop. I love you too much to allow you to speak this way to me. And I love myself too much to allow you to speak to me. And our relationship is important, and I need to protect that. So you can't come to me and speak that way. If you want to have a conversation with me and have it where we can be respectful of each other, I'm in. But if you can't do that, then I need you to step away, or I need to step away. And we can come back tomorrow and try again. There's a couple of things I say there that I want to let the guys know. It's very deliberate. One is, in that example, I'll say, hey, I care about you too much to allow you to play down to that level, right? I know you're better than that, is the subtext. And because I do love you, I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to let you play below your bar. Two is I love me. Like I need you to understand that I did something bad. I violated trust, and I still love myself enough to be respected. Like, yep, I did it wrong. I deserve to hear all the things you have to share, to feel the feelings. So the initial guilt and shame should be there probably. And there's the third entity of our relationship. Now, my job is to protect that third entity. Your job is too, but right now, if you do your job or not, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it. And, the last thing I did in that conversation is I closed the loop, right? I said, you need to leave or I need to leave, and we can come back tomorrow and try again. Because if you leave that loop open, you're saying basically this conversation's over. But you need to say, hey, we can come back again to do it. So in the listener's mind, they know that they have a second chance to get that grievance off their chest.
So I'm curious the line in that. When we say respect, and what if that line exists differently for everybody, or where is where's that line? I will use an example just from my own life of something that I did that I carried deep shame around. Almost lost my marriage, lost my entire family. How long ago now? I've been sober since 2018. But 8 years prior, the 8 years leading up to that, I was an opiate addict, and as opiate addict as you could be, right? So all of the things that came with it, lying, stealing, just anything to feed this habit, right? And I was married when this happened. I had kids when this was going on. So in 2018, when things really hit the fan and it was like, hey, this is that rock bottom moment, things have to change. I had to rebuild myself while also rebuilding a relationship to my wife and, kind of everybody in my life. And one of the things that came up in that healing journey was my relationship to her anger in this. Like she had a pent up amount of, or just a huge amount of pent up rage towards me that there was really no space for her to express that throughout that time period, right? She was kind of in survival mode. I was off doing my thing. And when we came back together, I had to learn to like truly sit in a place of neutrality and allow that rage to be expressed and to be witnessed and to be cared for and to be known, because it's true, right? That rage, that feminine rage, whether it's pointed at me or someone else, right? There has to be a safe place to express that. Again, it taught me how to sit in a deeper place, and a safe container for that to be expressed isn't somebody internalizing it. It's not me believing what she says about me or anything like that. It's like me being able to sit in a space of, hey, I've reconciled what I've done, right? I've gone through the healing journey. I'm good with me. I want to hear what you have to say. So like,
hey guys, I just want to share something with you. I'm sure we can both agree that in order to fix something, you need to know what's broken. And not only need to know what's broken, but a step-by-step methodology on how you can fix it. That's the easiest way to do it, right? Otherwise, you're going to be toiling with things. That's why I created a free training, a training that not only shows you how you got to where you are, where your relationship is missing that love, respect, admiration, and even intimacy that it used to have, to how you get it back. How do you retain that where your wife's looking at you the same way she used to look at you when she said, I do? You know, I don't know about you, but for me, when my wife looks at me like I'm her man, that I feel like I can conquer the world. And I want that for you. Simply go over to thepowerfulman.com/scales. That's thepowerfulman.com/scales. And I have a free video training for you. You can just click play and see if this resonates for you. Now back to the podcast.
how curious can I get about how you really feel about shit?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's a line there somewhere of the disrespect. I think maybe it's an agreement, right? An agreement of what we're about to talk about, right?
Yeah.
My wife were to just come at me with rage for no reason. Like, all right, that's a lot.
Sure.
But if we're both sitting in a space where we're acknowledging that she feels a certain way, she's got some stuff that she needs to express, and I'm okay sitting in that space with her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just kind of what came up for me.
I love that. I appreciate you sharing all that. I got a lot of questions on that, but what comes up for me to add on to would be, you can kind of feel it, right? Everybody's going to be different. So here's an example. So I turned our garage into a home gym, as you know. Obviously, you and I worked out there yesterday. Sounds kind of funny telling you, but I got to tell everybody else the context.
Sure.
And 3 days a week, and sometimes more, at 6 a.m., my wife and 3 other women work out there. And because I have a background as a strength coach, used to run a gym in Santa Barbara, a private training studio. Every once in a while, they'll come in and they'll go, hey, Doug, will you just train us for a little bit, give us an ab workout or something for fun. And the first time I did it, kind of jokingly, I come out there, I'm like, all right, bitches, let's go, you know? But I said it in a joking way. Mm-hmm. The energy is what I'm saying. If I went to those same women and called them a bitch, it would not have gone well.
Yeah.
Like, these are strong women. And so it's the energy behind it. It's the charge.
Yeah.
In my relationship, we have a strong boundary of not using abusive language towards each other. That boundary has been crossed at times. And it's our job to call it out and say, hey, I love myself too much to have you call me that or do that or say that, right? To be fair, it's usually me that's doing it. And we get to set that for ourselves. So in your situation with Kristen, yours is a prolonged situation, right? So could potentially be 8 years or more of pent up aggression, anger that she couldn't get out. You get to figure out what that appropriate time is. And what I've realized is when the same argument comes up over and over again, the other person doesn't feel heard, completely heard. And so that's where I've coached men through the conversation. I coached a guy that's coming to mind right now. He's like, it's the same argument every time. Every once it comes up. I go, oh, it comes up routinely? He's like, yeah. She's just, every once in a while she brings up the same issue, from years ago. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. That to me tells me that she doesn't feel like you truly understand.
Yep.
Right? So this is what you get to do. You get to sit her down and say, babe, you've been bringing this up for a while. Tell me more. What else? What else? Tell me more. Interesting. I'd like to know more about that. And eventually she's going to get to a point where you say, what else? She's like, no, there's nothing else. Great. I'm glad we were able to get there. I want to make sure that you're fully heard so we don't have to have this conversation again, right? I want us to, this is hidden motives. I want us to, right, move forward where we both feel free to express ourselves. And, I want to make sure you understand that I really, truly get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And not all the time, Chris, but most of the time that'll drop the conversation. If she feels that you're not just listening to say back her words rotely, right? Rotely might not be a word, but you know what I mean? Verbatim. But she understands you get the full emotional journey, right? Not just the words, but the meaning behind the words. You understand her pain. And guys, you really need to master the hidden motives technique. It's critical in this situation. But also setting those firm boundaries as early as possible is great. So with Kristen, I don't know what Kristen said. If she was saying mean things, not mean things, yelling or screaming.
All of the above.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say at some point, probably pretty early, go, look, you have every right, like use hidden motives. You didn't know the hidden motives technique back then, right?
Sure.
But, saying, hey, look, you have every right to be angry and upset. And what I did do, I was hijacked and I was taken over by a foreign substance that came into my body and it just took me over. And I never wanted to hurt you to the level. I got to imagine that, raising the kids on your own, having a husband that's an addict, stealing and ruining maybe your friendships around you and never trusting this, that, and the other. And I don't want to pile this on you, but
it's all good.
would have been X, Y, and Z. And I just want to let you know that I just never want to go back there. And you have every right to harbor that anger for as long as you need to. However, I'm going to propose that we choose just not to be disrespectful because I sunk so low. I don't want you to sink so low either because you're better than that. And I want to make sure that moving forward, I uphold a high standard for us in our marriage and our relationship.
Yeah.
And that can help right away. Now she might just say, "Oh, now you show up. Now, that's now you want to be the guy." You're like, "Yeah, yes."
Well, then that's just about consistency, right?
Yes.
If you're in the place where you can have that conversation, in your relationship to what you've done, like is reconciled, and like you're good to have that conversation, then consistently do that because the more consistently that you show up that way, the more that's going to show her that like this is real.
Yeah.
Right. And you guys can actually move past it.
Yeah. So you said 2018?
2018.
Yeah. So, and for 8 years, right? So here we are 25. Let me do my math here real quick. Have you shown up 8 years consistently as Chris 2.0, right? So I have a story I like to tell on the podcast a lot because it cracked me up, is I had a guy that I was working with one-on-one. And by his own definition, he was an asshole, jerk, whatever, for over 10 years. And he would be like, "Oh, Doug, I was the worst." And I won't go into the things he was doing or not doing or whatever, but disrespectful, wife gives birth. He comes by, basically says hi and leaves to work, right? Well, every time. And just never around, just didn't cheat on his wife, but did darn near everything else that you could possibly do and just wasn't there. And was a jerk. When he yelled at her for not sleeping with him, even if she was sick or what have you, just was a jerk. And so let's call this guy Tom because that's not his name. And So here's what happened. So Tom goes up to me and he goes, Doug, I did everything you've said. I've been perfect for a week and a half. It's been a week and a half and I've done everything perfectly. I've used the hidden motives technique. I've seen her. I've helped out around the house. I've shown up. I've done all of these things. It's been great. And I go, John, you told me you used to be a jerk. Is that right? He's like, oh yeah, it's horrible. I go, well, how long were you? More than 5 years? He's like, oh, over 10 years. Yeah, I was just absolutely the worst. Man, I'm so glad I'm turning this around. I go, so your wife has evidence that you're an asshole for 10 years. And you're going to tell me that you can only go a week and a half, and then you lost your shit, and now she's supposed to think you're changed? Like, she's just going to be going, aha, there you are. This week and a half was a smokescreen.
Yep.
Right? And she's going to relate to the old John. Yep. And so that's what we get to do based on your consistency. And when you screw up, guys, call it out. Right? Go, you know what? I screwed up. I went back to old John, and I don't want that guy. And I'm glad we went a week and a half, and now my goal is to go forever. But maybe it'll be 2 weeks, and I want you to call me out if you see fit. That's not your job. It's not your job. But if you do see fit, let go. It's my job. And because John 2.0 is here, and he's here to stay, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure. And if that means John 1.0 shows up every once in a while, I'll beat that guy down. And that's going to allow her, because when you call it out, you take leadership. She knows it. Right? So many guys, and I'm sure I did this as well. So many guys don't call out the elephant in the room because they think nobody else sees it. It's a friggin' elephant. Like, everybody sees it. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's like when we do events, the Alpha Reset coming up. So we'll have a number of guys that are here. It's a small group, right? We have 5 staff, almost a 1-to-2 ratio for the men, because we really want this transformation to occur for these guys. The guys think they pull the wool over everybody's eyes, right? And I don't know about your experience in your Alpha Reset, but everybody that's on the couch, let's say, when I look at them as a coach, I can see right through them. And they think they're hiding all the things they're hiding. Some guys show up with bravado. Some guys show up as the funny guy. Some guys are the sad guy, the victim guy. But they think nobody can see through their masks. The truth is, everybody can.
Yeah.
You're not fooling anybody. And so the more you can call that out, then people can trust you more, because it's obvious. You're leading. You're like, yeah, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And everybody knows you're not. So cool, call that out. But in this situation with this guy, right? He's allowed himself to be in the state of purgatory, and he thinks he's being the good guy, but he's being a nice guy by taking his lashings. I think that's okay for a small period of time, but at some point you got to say, okay, I get it. You're upset. You're mad. If you want to work this out, this can't continue, right? Because I can't be the man that you want me to be if I'm constantly allowing you to disrespect me, put me down, belittle me, right? You just can't. You can't have that as a jump off spot to go to the next level.
I'd take it back. I just think that he has to be okay with himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Conversation,
Well, and this is why a lot of men, you get to learn not to take on other people's opinions of you.
Yep.
Which is tough, man. It can be really tough. You have to get to a level of knowing yourself and loving yourself. It's very, very deep, and it's an ongoing practice.
Yep.
Right. All of us stumble, in my experience anyway. I'd love to see this guy, and he'll listen to this for sure. I love to see this guy set the firm boundaries, set the path that he wants the relationship to be, own his side of the street fully, which he's done. Okay. At least he's told me he's done. Yeah. Right. I'm not there in his living room. And on top of that, he gets to set a firm boundary for the way things are going to be moving forward. You can't develop a relationship. Like, so for example, his wife was like, hey, I need to check all your social media, your phone needs to have access to your email and everything else, because how do I know you're not cheating still? Right? Maybe once she can look at it, but what I told him was like, well, I get it. And you can't move forward with a relationship of trust if that's happening. Unfortunately, she has to either A, trust you, or B, she has to love herself so much that she can't be concerned with what you're doing, because you do it again, you're out. Like,
yeah, I agree from that standpoint. You can't build a relationship on that lack of trust.
Yeah.
Right. That's not going, there's no foundation there.
No, it's no bueno.
Yeah. She's got to have the skin in the game, unfortunately. It hurt, but
it's so tough, right? So we have men on the other side of this. Like we have a lot of men that come through our program who their wife is cheated, right? They're like, how can I trust again? Like, well, you can't move forward unless you choose to trust.
100%.
And that's work, man. That takes a lot of work. I mean, all of us have had our trust violated. One of the biggest things I see when I talk to men that's underneath the surface of what they're complaining about is they'll hear this all the time. I don't trust people. I don't trust other guys. I don't trust people in business. I don't trust women, right? They're trust issues because they've been hurt.
Yep.
But you cannot build a marriage unless there's trust involved.
Yeah.
And that means the trust can be broken, but trust has to be rebuilt.
Yeah. Well, and I've been on the other side of all of this and had my trust broken within my marriage.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember the moment vividly where I had to make the choice and go, I got to let this go, and I have to just trust this person if we're going to move forward. Like that choice has to be made, and you kind of have to put your stake in the ground, right? And it works both ways. So yeah, I agree. I mean, she has to be willing to put her stake in the ground and trust him if they're going to move forward.
I think that's it. So if I looked at this from a formulaic standpoint, do you both want to move forward? Yes, no.
Yep.
If the answer is yes, that both people need to move forward, great. Boundaries got to be reformed, right? Boundaries about infidelity, boundaries about the way we treat each other. And then you get to create a new story about how you want to live this next relationship. The old relationship's dead, okay, so to speak, metaphorically, obviously. But how do you want to move forward with this new relationship? And trusting each other has to start off immediately. Now, it can be shaky, right? It can be a wobbly trust, if you know what I mean. Like you could still, I got to imagine that this particular woman is going to wonder, hey, if he flies to New York again on business, is he going to see this girl, right? Or what have you? Those kinds of things, and I'm making up that story, but those kind of things will come through her head. And that's understandable. That's just human nature. And that probably will happen for a long while, maybe forever. But there needs to be a level of trust to move forward. And there needs to be that boundary of respect. Yeah. And this guy needs to do his work. Mm-hmm. And his wife probably should be doing her work too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome, man. As always, love having you at the TPM branch. I know we kept you over here. Colton's caffeineing us, getting us all his coffee.
He's still awake over there.
Now he's back on the bean. It's good to see him out there, man. But again, thank you for all, as I say every episode, thank you for all that you do for the movement. You've literally helped hundreds and hundreds of families throughout this world rekindle. And sometimes it doesn't work out for the families, but the men always come out better. So, I mean, that's a legacy worth living.
Yeah, thank you, brother. None of this happens without you. So
yeah, well,
thank you.
Do what I can. Gentlemen, as I always say in the moment of insight, take massive action. Look, this happens a lot. We hear about it on both ends, right? Infidelity, it's a real thing. Whether it be an emotional infidelity, a physical infidelity, it happens, but it doesn't get rebuilt unless both parties want to rebuild, and trust is the foundation. And again, like I'm saying, for some of you guys, you're listening to this, you're probably triggered. You're like, well, my wife cheated. I didn't. I get it, man. And I'm not talking about that, but I am talking to you. And if you want to move forward, you have to try to trust, right? And that sounds weird when I say that out loud. Try to trust? There's no try. You have to give it a shot, right? If it's worth it to you to save your relationship, you have to. And it could be hard, right? But being in a relationship where you don't trust the person, that's a lot harder, in my opinion. Choose your hard, right? Going for it and going all in. And then get the tools necessary to repair your relationship. Take some courses on relationships. I mean, you're listening to Chris and I today. You're doing it. You're on the right path. I invite you to delve a little bit deeper, whether it be more episodes in this podcast, whether it be finding out about a TPM program, whether it be joining another program that might be better fit for you. You know, we're not the pound our chest type of guys over here at TPM. There are groups of guys that are into that kind of stuff and, you know, go box each other, whatever. Do your thing, whatever's best for you, but do your work. And then also hold a firm line. You got to love yourself. At the end of the day, nobody gets the right to disrespect you. I don't get the right to disrespect you, and nobody else gets the right to disrespect you. And that's where we get to stand up for ourselves. See you next time on the TPM show.